So today we're going to do a tutorial on LangGraph. So in this first session, what I'm going to try and cover is how to build the graph and how the nodes all work together, the state and some of the LangGraph component of it. We get time, we'll go into the agents, but I want to cover to start with the flow engineering part of it and the state. The project that we're going to do is creating a meta agent. So I'll go over this really quickly and then I'll jump into doing it. The user sends in their prompt. That then gets rewritten using prompt engineering techniques. The prompt then gets sent to the human. The human can either say, I'm fine with this prompt, or they can tell if they can advise if the agent's gotten anything wrong, so they can loop back around and keep improving it. Once the human's happy with it, it comes into this analyze feedback. And the analyze feedback is another special sort of agent that basically just has two outputs. It needs to be smart because it needs to analyze the human's feedback, but it's got structured outputs, so it can basically you'll work out what it's going to say, but it'll basically say two different replies. One of them will direct back to the prompt engineer, and the other will go forward. So then, if we go continuing on forward, the next agent will define the subject matter. So they'll basically pull out from the re-engineered prompt. They'll try and work out what is the subject matter. Is it computing? Is it physics or something? That will then get stored in a variable, and I'll show you how all that works in a second. Then it goes down to the next agent. The next agent, we insert the subject matter that was defined in the previous node into the system prompt of this new agent. So we are basically on the fly creating a subject matter expert on the subject matter of the prompt.
Dude, this sounds crazy complicated.
It's not going to be. So now we've got an ad hoc subject matter expert agent. That agent is then going to have some very specific instructions that we give it. It's going to create meta agents, so more advanced versions of itself, and write system prompts for a team of agents to answer the question. So they'll all get stored in variables, and then those variables will be fed in and become the system prompts of our agent team. So these three agents are sort of like the meta agents, and they're going to be the three agent team that's going to answer the prompt. And this is the bit where we're going to play around with these four agents the most. So we've got a bit of an idea how to do it to start with, and depending on how it works, like this, three agent in a circle mightn't be the best format, so we can play around and work out the best way of creating this sort of team. So most time.
How did you come up with meta agents?
I was thinking about. There's a few different bits. One of the ideas why I wanted to do meta agents was I was seeing some YouTubes about as possibly reaching a plateau of power of LLMs, and if that's the case, then we need to work out means of using agents basically to get the most out of the LLMs that we have, and that got me thinking to trying to create a system like this to use smaller LLMs to create the best responses possible.
Or like sub agents almost. They don't. Do they have the same structure than a normal agent, or is it just you call them that way?
Yeah, they do, but except that rather than predefining the system prompt gets defined during the running. The agents define their own. A previous agent defines the system prompts of the upcoming agents.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, this is the overall flow, and go back. We'll come back to this and talk about it more as well once we get to it. But that's the idea of what we're going to try and build. And now I'm going to get to here's the project. So it's using poetry, so that's why we've got sort of all of the source code is going to go in this inner Ad.A.M folder. It's got subfolders for agents, edges, nodes, and tools. We're not going to use tools at this stage. The nodes, like the rectangles from the drawing that I showed, inside each of the node will sit an agent, and the edges connect the agents together. So that's sort of the structure that we're going to go. But to start with, the first file that we're going to build is going to be the state.
This is cursor. Oh, cool. How do you find cursor?
I'm loving it so far. I think I'm probably going to stop paying for it in a bit and try Codium, but so far it's good. It gives me a lot of bad advice. I don't think as a non-coder, it tells me and I just follow its advice and then go, no, that wasn't the right thing to do. But it's it's all part of learning what can the AIs, what can they do for us, etc.
Okay. Well, how is it different from VS Code?
The chat that it's got and the fact that it will.
Oh, it has chat automatically built in without you having to pay for it.
Well, I am paying. There is a version. There's a free version of it, but I'm paying so that I can get. If I want to start a new chat, I can talk with GPT 4.0. There's also means of talking to Gemini 1.5 Flash if you've got like a huge workspace. I haven't played around with that yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't believe it has O already. GPT,
Yeah.
GitHub Copilot doesn't even have GTO yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's one of the advantages with a small team. They can move fast.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
So I need to from typing. See, yeah, so it's got like that. The Copilot sort of things have it worked out that I needed to import typing. All right, so this is the state. The state is essentially a package of variables that we pass from node to node that carries the story so far essentially. So first of all, you always have messages, and they're always in this sort of a format, which basically is it uses the inbuilt annotated library from Python. And I don't fully understand how it works, but the gist of what it ends up doing is you can only ever add messages to you've got a list of messages, and because it's got this format, you can't overwrite the messages or delete them or anything. You always just add a new message to the end. So it's just sort of a bit of a safety mechanism, I think, but that's the way they've built the messages in LangChain and LangGraph.
Wait, so what is the state? Is it a tool? Is it an action? What is it?
It's a dictionary, it's a variable, it's a dictionary, so it's a collection of other variables that we're going to use to store information, and you can pass that package of variables from one agent to the next so that they're all working on the same thing.
Yeah, okay, got it.
So what we need is we've got the messages, which you always have, and then the other two things that I'm going to do is the subject, because we've got a subject matter expert that needs subject matter, so that's just going to be a string. And then the other one that we want is the prompt. So I'm just going to call it prompt. You could call it rewritten prompt, but prompt's nice and easy. So that's basically all we need to do in this this module. So this is just storing the state that we're going to pass between them. And we'll see how this works a bit better once we get further into it.
Okay, we can hear me. Sorry to join late. I just wanted to ask, the state, would you define it as alternative instead of state? Would you define it as a protocol between?
Sorry, I missed that, Tom. What was the word? What was the word other than state?
Protocol, like a communication protocol, for example, like you.
Yeah. So like
a few words.
The structure is this protocol, but we're going to create an instance. Yeah. So this class state is the protocol, and we're going to create an instance of it, which is going to be the package that we're going to be sending between the nodes. So yeah. So this is more like the protocol at this stage. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. There's so many different terminologies.
Yeah.
I can't believe you can already do this all like out of head.
I wrote myself some notes to make it easier. So next we're going to so now we're doing what we're talking about just then, Tom. We're going to create an instance of we're creating a graph, and we're feeding the graph the variable of the state, and our graph is going to be Metaflow. It's called Metaflow.
Did you name it like that, or is it meant to be named like that?
I'm naming it like that. Do you want to give it a different name? But this is the name of the structure basically. We can call it whatever we want.
Yeah, Metaflow's cool, man.
Alright, cool.
I like it.
So state graph is a
You need to import it, right?
yeah. I thought they had the I can't remember which package it's from.
State graph.
Oh, it's from LangGraph. Right.
Wait, so you're bringing in Ad.A.M state from the other file?
Yep, so we defined the state that we're going to use in the other file, and now we're importing that so that we can bring it in as a variable into the state graph.
This is like React.js. That's good. That's cool. This is familiar already.
Alright, so next I'm going to call this an engineer Right, so now we're adding the first node to the graph. So it's going to it's going to sort of like in the graph, it's being given the name of the string, and we're going to have a function, we're going to pass it a function engineer node, which I've actually created, so I'll show you that. I'll jump to that now. and we're going to need to import that in, and then we'll keep going. So I created it just because it's going to be a bit easier. Right. So this is the shell of a node. So we're going to create, for each node, we're going to create one of these shells, and we're going to eventually put the call the function for the agent inside the node. But to begin with, we're just going to print out the node's name so that we can sort of like run the graph and see it all working. The nodes always get past the state, and they return variables from the state in a dictionary, is the way that it sort of works. So if we update one of the variables within the state, we then need to return the updated variable, back to the graph essentially. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this is a lot like React. It's funny. It's just Python. This how Python is?
So what was that?
Oh, I did not know that Python works like React. I didn't know it's so similar. It's crazy. Because we also have, like in React.js, you basically create the state library in a separate folder where you just define the state of all the different variables. And then you just take those variables and you put it into the component file, and then build with that the UI and you capture the state of a button that got pressed or a drop down what it needs to do. It's very similar.
Cool. Alright, so next we're going to add the analyze node, which is going to analyzing the human's feedback. Oh, we also need to do the human node.
Okay, so what is the metaflow again?
Metaflow is the variable that we've got for the graph itself.
Okay, and that stores then
all of the nodes. So we created a variable that sort of like is like an empty box that we can build our whole graph in, and now we're adding each of these nodes to it. So I've added the node for, and what I'm going to start with, I'm just going to add these three, and we're going to get it running with these three, and then we'll add more. But so I've added the engineer node, and now I'm adding the next one is the analyzer node, and then the third one's going to be the human node.
And where did you didn't define the model yet, right? Which model are you using?
No, I'm not going to. I'm not doing the model yet. I'm doing the flow before we do the model.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
All right, so we have. We've added our three nodes that we're going to start with. Next, we're going to add a conditional edge. So the edges, an edge is between each node. There's an edge. A conditional edge basically means that from that node, there's multiple places where it can go. So we've got the analyzer is where we've got the conditional edge. So we start off by going the from node. I'm pausing because I'm trying to work out what names we're going to call stuff. All right, so we start off with the node that it's coming from. We then need a function to use that's going to make the decision of which edge to take, essentially. And then we have a dictionary with the different choices. So engineer node.
So this is really, it shows you really how important almost this design that you did at the beginning, how important that is, right?
Yeah, that's why I want to get the design, build this out first. And it's you can move all of this around, but it's kind of, once it gets big, it hurts your head trying to work out moving one edge from another and like changing the direction that the nodes go and stuff like that. Right, so we've created an edge now, we've created the conditional edge, and we also need to create all of the other edges. So the first one is going to be, so we're going to go another metaflow.addEdge, and we're going to go from engineer node, and we're going to go to analyzer node.
And the add node and the add conditional edge and the add edge, these are just made up from you, right? Or is this a LangGraph thing?
So the add nodes and the add conditional edges and the add edges are all methods of the state graph.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so we created the Metaflow graph, and then once we've got that, we're calling the different methods of this Metaflow instance of the state graph.
And so the engineering nodes are also LangGraph, or is this made up?
They're made up. The engineering, So so the node names I've made up.
Cool.
This function name I've made up.
So these are the states, right? Engineering nodes is the state, right?
No, the state is the variables that get passed between the nodes. The nodes is sort of like a house in the graph that the agent lives in. Yeah, that's the easiest way I can sort of describe it. It's a place to live. It's a place for the agent to live. We've got sort of added the conditional edge between the analyzer node and linking it back to the engineer node or the human node. And now I've added another edge between the engineer node and the analyzer node. So coming back to our diagram, I just created. I've done the wrong thing. So it's always good to have a diagram. I need to create the edge from the engineer to human, and then an edge from human to analyzer. And the first bit that I did was these two conditional ones from analyzer that goes back to the engineer and onwards.
Okay, so the add nodes and conditional edges, they are basically the connectors, the information pushers.
Yeah.
From one, but like. Okay.
So this is saying that the information always goes from engineer to human. There's never any choice. After the engineer node, it always goes straight to the human. And then we're going to do another one from the human. Yeah. So the engineer always goes to the human always goes to the analyzer, and then the analyzer, actually I did this one wrong too, the analyzer either goes to the engineer or it's going to go onwards to the subject matter expert, which I haven't...
Okay. Sorry, I just saw that we are in the file build graph. So we are building the graph, right, which are the connections between, like, the two agents.
Yeah, so we're building up the logic of the flow.
The logic of the flow, like the information highway, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, like a street. So how do you know when to use add node and when add edge and so forth?
So if there's only one direction, so like this prompt engineer node, there's only one way that it can go out. So we always use just a standard edge because it can only ever go to the human. The same from the human to the analyzer. But then the analyze feedback's got two outward going edges, so it makes a choice basically. So you need to have a conditional edge that that has the logic to go. Does it go back to the engineer or forward to the subject matter expert, the subject matter?
Yeah, that's three. Okay.
All right, so we're just about. I've added all of these. I need to as well. We need to have a starting place. I'm going to go. I was hoping not. I was going to try and do it all from here, but I'm going to go back to my previous project so I can see how I did it in the last one. Yep, save everything. Alright, so where's my...
Gee, look at this. Look how complicated this already is, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, so I need to set start entry point, which is going to be our... for the one that we're building is going to be the engineer.
Cool.
So we'll grab that, and I think... Oh, and I also then need an end... We need to do an end somehow... I think I'm just going to leave the end bit for the moment and come back to it. I'll add in the entry point, and we can just actually kill the process to end it for now. Alright, so back to Ad.A.M. Set entry point as engineer node. Right, nodes. We now need to copy this and create our other nodes.
How did you know to call it nodes? You just came up with that.
Yeah, because they're the nodes, I'm just defining them that way, so I know. Sorry?
Why don't you just call it just engineer or just human?
Oh,
Why do you call it node?
Because we need to create an agent as well, and you possibly could just write the agent code into the node, but the way the tutorials I followed had it really modular and had the agent separate. So we're next going to do like an engineer agent. Well, the human won't have one, but yeah, that's why we're calling these ones nodes. Yeah, you could call it whatever you want, basically, as long as it reminds you. Must be something else. I can hear like alerts going on my computer. I thought it was the chat.
Look at us swapping the quantity. Proud of you guys. Very cool.
Alright, so I tried to run it, and oh yeah, so it's not doing it.
Did you learn through this course of video, or did you go back to LangGraph documentation to
Through tutorials and through the documentation, but then I've also, like, for things, they did everything in Jupyter notebooks, and I wanted to do it as a proper project and use separate files and stuff. And then trying to get the different files all to work together, I've had to try and piece together and work out from Googling and using AI and stuff. But I found that you can do, like, an add the project directory to the path, and then insert it into the path, and then it works, but I don't know if I've set this one up.
Did you use AI at all to like figure out stuff and best practice and whatnot?
Yeah, I have, but I've had different.
What did you use? Did you use any model that you know that's good or?
I used Cursor, and I built myself a bot in Hugging Face. Using Command R with access to the net, so that it could basically Google, so it's basically Googling for me. So I made a Python subject matter expert in Hugging Face in Hugging Chat.
But there should be. I'll have a quick check to see if there's a good LangGraph GPT maybe as well.
Yeah. The problem I've got now though is just a pure Python one where I don't think it wants. I didn't want to get rid of. I've got to work out how to import stuff from the other. That worked. Alright, cool. So next I need to get any message.
Yeah, there's a LangGraph wizard GPT.
Can you see if it knows where the any message is from? I can or base message. I'm using it. I wanted to try using any message which I haven't used before. It's one of the new ones from LangChain 0.2, but I could also use base message.
Okay. Wait, what's that?
It's basically a variable of the messages that you send back, or of prompts and responses from the AI. So it's got the message content plus whether it's the human that sent it or the AI, and there can also be other things like the tool, if there's tool requests and stuff like that in it as well. So it's just a variable for messages. Alright, found it. Where's add messages? Add messages is also.
Wait, is that bug fixed now? The any messages or add messages?
Oh yeah. So I found now I need add messages, which I think I've also just found.
Otherwise, I have the LangGraph with wizard here. I can just throw an arrow in there.
I will try that the next time. I found the docs and was basically just tried to find a tutorial that was using them, and I've done it that way. Alright, so next error.
We'll paste them in the chat, then I can look and you can continue.
Yeah, I think these are, this is again, sorry, this one's now, it's looking like it's because it can't find the one. I think what I need to do, I think it's just, I like basically I let the Copilot write the code and it was being done.
Is this Copilot ++?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did you have enough testing yet with Copilot, GitHub Copilot versus GitHub Copilot ++?
I haven't used the GitHub one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wonder, because GitHub, it wouldn't have a lot of LangGraph code yet, right? I wonder how good that would be. Just throw it into the chat for people again. Yeah, check it there. G2 is saying that we should check the env file and then from the .env import load.env. She put it in the chat.
Oh, open the
Try
chat.
this. Environment variable is not set. Wait, isn't it working? We fixed it. It's there. This was an Ad.A.M, right?
Yeah, I think in my previous project I had the .env file in the in with the source code. Right, that was it. Thank you.
Okay.
Alright, so I'll just go and try debugging this one. So this is using its default debug in cursor.
Now are you able to?
Now we can hear you.
Hey.
That's good. I have connected from the application. That's working. So, Shannon, seems to be the environment variable is not properly set.
The which is
Environment variable.
So you are having the environment file outside the in the parent directory of A.D.A.M, right?
yeah, that was so that did what your advice worked. I added this in and I've now got a different error because I moved the .env file in this project. It's in the parent directory, whereas previously I had it inside Ad.A.M, so I didn't need to specify it in load.env. This is the issue with ChatGPT 4.0. It just ends up in these endless loops when it's trying to debug. So I'll go back and try it with GPT-4. Oh, hang on. I thought this was a different error. I just define them like this.
No, it in this one they are having a init.py, right?
Right. So it's create, yeah. So it's not defining it's not seeing this as a module.
Are we happy in it there?
No, that's not in. It's not inside nodes.
Okay. You have to not put something. That is not the point.
I think next time we join through the LangGraph in the Visual Studio code so that everyone can view and comment on it.
Yeah. StateGraph, line 22. Oh, StateGraph, line 22, capital G. Oh, you're gonna bet in there now. Yeah. Come on. Line 29.
Analyzer edge. Oh, we haven't done this. Right, so yeah, we need a... Right, edges. I forgot to build the edge.
Oh, yeah. Well, correct, too.
I'll just accept that for the moment. Right, edge. What do we need for the edge? The edges are really simple. Right, so what we normally do is you take the state in, but essentially all the edge needs to do is a logic of like if the variable so if response equals proceed, then we want to return, what was the name of, I think it was subject node, yeah, is the else return, we want to go back to the engineer node. So I'll go over this again in more detail later on, but basically the idea of the edge is you have a variable or whatever you want to, you check the different, use like an if statement or something, and you basically return the name of the node that you want it to go back to. So I've got subject node or engineer node, and then if we go back to the build graph, you can see that it's got those, like if analyzer edge returns engineer node, then it will go to the engineer node. If it returns subject node, it will go to the subject node.
Does the second, like engineering node, not need to? Should it be a string?
Yeah, they could be different. They are both strings because it's the same as like here. One of the strings, I'm not sure which is which. One of the strings is the string that gets returned, and the other string is the name of the node that it goes to. But if you make them both the same, then it solves that problem. But
that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, one of them is I think the first one's the the response from the analyzer edge function. But the other thing that I need to do is I need to define response here. Yeah, proceed.
Wait, let's fix the analyzer edge first.
I need to fix it.
Yeah, it's so red. The analyzer edge file.
But you you need to include a 8.5 developer.
Oh, is it the...
No, you are going to use that analyzer
Yeah.
inside. So inside that folder, you need to include that 8.5.
The initialization
Yeah,
py file.
application. Yeah.
So
yeah.
every folder
Sorry.
is like it.
Oh. Is that's a Python thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it means that it recognizes the module in a package.
Oh, wow. Is this a Python thing or is it a LangGraph thing?
Python. State's not defined.
I think from what I saw
analyze
in
the edge.
places, you can initialize or do your imports if you're using it across the files.
Right, okay.
Don't know if that makes sense.
It looks good. Is that meant to be output?
That was because I didn't get rid of this. Right, so it's all compiling. Now we need to do if everyone can hold on for a little bit more, we're nearly there, and we need to add a main.py file. Right, I'm going to go, I didn't think we were going to get this far. We'll go back to here, save.
Be optimistic.
You got this.
Well, man.
Yeah, thanks for all the help.
Yeah, man. Totally.
Alright, so we're going to need to grab some of these things later on. So I'm going to need to build graph. The main bits that we need to do is, though, I'm just going to grab this whole, I'm going to have to cut lots of it out, but I'll just copy and paste it in and then cut it out.
How have you found the development on a Mac?
I'm liking it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Nice.
Alright, so I'm going to get rid of, I'm just going to simplify this, we can add more stuff back in. But so, the first thing that we're doing, I need to import this build graph. So, I need to grab all of this stuff. And then from build graph import metaflow. Right, so the first thing we do is we compile the graph, which basically just makes it something that's runnable. And then I'm going to just try and
Separation after indenting.
I probably want to make this.
The main. Is there not anything that is missing after line 25? The main.
I know what I need to do. It just clicked for me. I need to go into build graph. Right, so we need to add another edge, and we go from here. It's complaining because there wasn't an AND. So I need to, from subject node, which is the AND as far as we got today, I then need to go to AND. So that's basically saying after subject node, finish the graph. Yeah, so it's not liking this stream. And so there's a way of, I might need to research this, there's a way of running through the graphs, like, because at the moment the way we've done it, we've built all of the structure of the flow, but we haven't got any agents in it, so they're sort of not, they're just shells that don't really do much. You can still run it and run through them, but when we're trying to stream, it's expecting, proper LLM functioning. We haven't actually added any of the LLMs into it yet. I think I might need, because we built the state, I might need to actually just put the state in even if we're not using it.
In addition to Stream, LangGraph offers several other features and components used to build language agents and graphs. State graph, nodes, edges, full execution, full executor, streaming token.
I think I might.
For today.
Yeah, call it for today and do some research offline.
I mean, that's pretty good, man. Like, out of nothing. It's like, I expect stuff. And, like, how many LangGraph projects have you done so far? Just the one big one?
I did one minor one before that, yeah, and then the one big one and a POC, but yeah, mostly have done, most of it's on this one really big one.
Nice, okay, cool.
And
that was like a couple of weeks of discovery phase, right?
Yeah. But as well, once, like a lot of it, you can just copy and paste the code, but it took me a bit of time to get this one working. And there's bits of it that I don't fully understand how why they do it that way. Like they've got this nested for loop that they always use, and they don't really explain why they do it like this anywhere, which makes it hard to sort of, extrapolate from and understand. But yeah, so I think next time I'll try and sort out this bug and get the shell. I'll know how to run the shell without the agents and then start adding the agents in. And I think we could probably, like in the next session, get an agent up and running. So then sort of have like the first couple of nodes all working together, and then it's just a case of building out the rest of it and then spending time on building the system prompts.
Nice.
It's cool.
Man. Very cool.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
That's a good first start. It makes me want to start with LangGraph now too.
But yeah, I think just trying to get a couple of the agents together, like with the number of nodes that are sort of done, if I can get that up and running and show it, then I can build the rest of it out in my own time, because it's largely just copy and pasting and then come back in for a third session with the full one to do the system prompts on the, to work with everyone on the system prompts.
Cool, man. All right, sweet.
Cool.
First day. That's pretty cool.